Picture this, a country so safe that parents left their baby strollers outside cafes, so trusting that front doors remained unlocked, so equal that a factory worker's child could become prime minister. This wasn't a fairy tale. This was Sweden. Until it wasn't. Today, Sweden holds a distinction no nation wants, the highest rate of gun deaths in the European Union. Police record an explosion almost every single day. Entire neighborhoods operate under shadow governments run by criminal gangs. And for the first time in over half a century, more people are fleeing Sweden than arriving. How did the most idealistic country in Europe transform into a cautionary tale whispered in parliamentary halls across the West? This is the story of a dream that died slowly, then all at once. In 1850, Sweden was Europe's embarrassment. So poor that 1 in 3 citizens, 1.3 million people, fled to America rather than starve on Swedish soil. The country was cold, barren, and forgotten. But scarcity breeds resilience. The Swedes who remained didn't just endure, they engineered. When industrialization arrived, Sweden was ready. High-quality iron ore lay beneath their frozen earth. Mighty rivers powered factories for free. Access to both the Baltic and North Seas created a trade superhighway, and a population educated in technical schools provided the minds to build an empire. Then came Sweden's secret weapon, neutrality. While Europe tore itself apart twice in 30 years, Sweden stood aside. No bombed factories, no lost generation, no crippling debt. By 1945, Sweden's infrastructure hummed while the rest of Europe smoldered in ruins. The result? By 1975, Sweden had become the 4th richest country on Earth. Companies like Volvo and Saab became global icons. The Swedish model, generous welfare, strong unions, high taxes, actually worked. But it worked for a specific reason few wanted to acknowledge. Let's talk about migration. We need to go to 2015. In a single year, Sweden, a nation of just 10 million, received 163,000 asylum applications. Most came from Syria. It was the highest per capita rate in the OECD. Offices were overwhelmed. Schools converted gyms into emergency shelters. Healthcare systems buckled under demand. Today, approximately 64.6% of the Swedish population are ethnic Swedes, while the remaining 35.4% are of non-ethnic Swedish origin. In just 5 decades, Sweden transformed from one of the world's most homogeneous societies into one of its most diverse. But diversity without integration isn't strength. It's friction. Here's the paradox that broke Sweden. The more generous the system, the harder it became to escape it. Unlike other countries, Sweden gave citizenship without language tests, without job requirements, without serious background checks. You just needed to be physically present. From day one, immigrants received subsidized housing, free healthcare, unemployment benefits, paid training courses. Sound generous? It was. It was also a trap. Consider the Iranian immigrants who fled to Sweden in the 1980s and 90s. Educated, middle-class professionals. In Sweden, only 18% found work. They earned 35% less than native Swedes. The same Iranians who went to America, they earned 36% more than native-born Americans. The problem wasn't the immigrants, it was the system. In Sweden, 60% of jobs come through informal networks. Friends, classmates, former colleagues. New arrivals had none of these. Without language fluency, without references, without social capital, the door to employment stayed shut. Meanwhile, government benefits kept coming. 9 times more than what native Swedes received. The system removed the urgency to integrate. Why struggle with a brutal language when rent is covered? Why network desperately for entry-level work when benefits pay more? What started as compassion became imprisonment. Today, half of all non-Western immigrants in Sweden are unemployed. Entire communities exist on the margins, not working, not connecting, not participating in Swedish society. they became strangers in the people's home. Police recorded 317 bombings in 2024, more than one explosion every single day. The same reports suggest the number of gang-related explosions in Sweden also rose from 149 incidents in 2023 to 317 in 2024. Authorities arrested bomb makers, seized record quantities of explosives, but the attacks continued. Hand grenades, battlefield weapons, detonated in residential neighborhoods. According to criminologist Amir Rostami, only Mexico shares Sweden's distinction for tracking grenade attacks. Let that sink in. Sweden compares itself to Mexico for explosive violence. Gun deaths tell the same story. Sweden is the only European country that has seen a continuous increase in firearm homicides against men and young adults since 2005, and this firearm homicide rate is now very high by European standards. In 2022, Stockholm's gun homicide rate was 30 times higher than London's, per capita. In 2017, 58% among those suspected for crime on reasonable grounds are migrants. Regarding murder and manslaughter, the corresponding figures are 73%. These aren't random acts. They're territorial wars fought by organized gangs recruiting teenagers from segregated neighborhoods, kids with no role models, no future, and nothing to lose. The criminal economy generates between $13.5 billion annually. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is that crime no longer fights against the state. It feeds off it. Gangs exploit welfare systems with fake identities, phantom companies, and fraudulent claims. They don't just control streets, they capture public resources meant for the vulnerable. The pillar that held Sweden together for generations, trust in institutions, is crumbling. Sweden in 2025 is unrecognizable from Sweden in 2015. According to the Migration Agency's forecast, Sweden looks set to receive the lowest number of asylum seekers since 1997, and for the first time in over 50 years, Sweden has net emigration. More people are leaving than arriving. In 2023, emigration increased among people born in countries such as Iraq, Somalia, and Syria, the very groups Sweden welcomed most generously. The government now demands language proficiency, requires immigrant children to attend preschool, reduces benefits for non-integration, reviews and revokes residence permits. In September 2024, the Swedish government announced that it would raise the existing benefit paid to migrants who voluntarily repatriate and leave Sweden from about $978 per adult to more than $34,000. Migration Minister Maria Malmer Stenergard declared something unthinkable a decade ago. Sweden has stopped being an asylum immigration country. Political correctness no longer controls the conversation. Media openly discusses gang violence. Politicians acknowledge ghettos. The words that were forbidden are now official policy. But can you unbreak what's been shattered? That's our story today. But the real story, the one being written right now across Europe and beyond, is only beginning. Subscribe to see where this path leads.